Chelsea all of a sudden seem to have found a way to quickly expose any defensive line, and it's all down to the 3-1-3-3 formation. This system used by Maresca is pulling defences apart, leaving opposition players outnumbered and quietly giving Chelsea's most dangerous attackers more time and space to create. So is this the right system that can take Chelsea back into the title race? Let's take a look. Welcome back to Football Meta. Enzo Maresca has spearheaded both a tactical and psychological revolution at Chelsea over the past few months, transforming a team that would struggle to put a few consecutive results together into literal world champions, moving the ball with purpose and control. So the board has decided to back the manager the only way they know how, by spending ludicrous amounts of money on new players. But this time there's already a well-drilled system in place for them to build on. Again, these are just pre-season friendlies and there's still everything to play for in the upcoming season, and there's nothing like the Premier League. But a lot of these positive changes were seen at the end of the previous season. In fact, last year Maresca experimented with a lot of different shapes and patterns in possession, but generally speaking the most used setup was a 3-2-5, with one of the two fullbacks inverting as the double pivot or even seen as an inside forward. After a long period of difficulty where Chelsea struggled to string positive results together, this setup started to work more effectively towards the end of the season, mostly thanks to players like Cucurella adopting a more fluid role and Caicedo being able to work as the single holding midfielder, allowing Chelsea to get more players forward in attack. But one of the more subtle changes also came down to where Chelsea wanted to keep possession. In fact, during a rough spell of the season, Chelsea could not break down low blocks any way they tried. They would push further and further up the pitch and suffocate the opponent deep in their half. But this constant circulation of possession meant there was little space for their dangerous players to create meaningful chances, and players like Cole Palmer were dropping deeper and deeper to get on the ball and were struggling to have a substantial impact. So the big change in their performances happened gradually. Firstly, the shape morphed into more of what we are seeing now, which is a 3-1-3-3 shape, with a more fluid use of Cucurella on the left and Palmer adopting a more central role or in the right half space. But the second major change was where Chelsea would circulate possession, and were now not reliant on holding the ball in these areas, but were much more patient circulating the ball from a deeper position. This meant the opposition had their defensive line higher up the pitch. There was more space in midfield for the players to get on the ball, and when they did break forward, chances were being created quickly before the opposition's defense could set up. Obviously, this system wasn't instantly perfect, and Chelsea were caught out at times when playing out from the back. But generally speaking, the impact it had on their attacking output was worth the risk, and it is now the foundation of the current Chelsea setup we see going into the new Premier League season. When you look at Chelsea's 3-1-3-3 under Maresca, the first thing you notice is the stability at the base. The back three and the single pivot of Caicedo hold everything together so the attack can flow. That stability is exactly what I've got now in my workspace thanks to the FlexiSpot E7 Plus standing desk and C7 ergonomic chair. I was in desperate need of upgrading my setup, so I was delighted when FlexiSpot reached out for a collaboration. The E7 Plus has a rock-solid four-legged design with smooth and quick transitions from one height to another, and it can handle up to 200 kilos of load. And its digital control panel lets you save 4 height presets, just like Maresca when he switches between patterns in possession. And it even has a USB port so you can charge your device without needing any extra plugs. It fits a wide range of tabletops, integrates with accessories, and keeps cables tidy, and the LED touch display is energy efficient. But a solid desk is only half the battle, and the new C7 ergonomic chair has replaced my old setup, which I'm almost embarrassed to show. In office mode, the backrest locks at 93 degrees. The adaptive lumbar support fits perfectly to my spine, and the seat depth adjusts for proper support. And when I want to relax, it reclines to 115 degrees. Both desk and chair are built to last with extremely long warranties and risk-free trial periods. So if you want your workspace to be as reliable as Chelsea's midfield diamond, then check out the links in the description down below. There are currently some great offers in honor of FlexiSpot's 9th anniversary. Thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Now back to Chelsea, the first thing to highlight is how this shape is created in the first place. Because while they do achieve this shape further up the pitch, this isn't how they start when the goalkeeper is in possession. When playing out from the back, the centre-backs split wide and Cucurella will invert next to Caicedo, forming a double pivot. Up top, the wingers pin the fullbacks, and in the centre, two players, likely to be Palmer and Joao Pedro or Delap, will start in close proximity. This direct pass through the middle is something Sanchez looks for quite frequently. We saw it in the World Cup final and in their pre-season friendlies as well. And it quickly allows Chelsea to push forward. We can see this initial build-up shape in this clip here, with Chalobah moving out wide as the left back and Cucurella inverting into the centre. This gives the goalkeeper time to play this pass right through the centre, where Chelsea have two players and can quickly shift it out wide. But more often than not, this group of 5 or 6 players will slowly move up the pitch by circulating the ball, and if they're pressed, it frees a player further up the pitch. Take for example this clip here. As they rotate to the left flank, Cucurella moves out wide and is tracked by the defender, freeing a central channel into Palmer, who can then switch play to the opposite flank into Estevao. Because of this specific danger, most of the time the opposition will concede some space, and Chelsea can move into their 3-1-3-3 shape. Cucurella forms the line of 3 with Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, while the front 3 are on the defensive line and as wide as possible. From here, Chelsea is still extremely patient in possession. Play rotates from side to side, and the 2 wide midfielders move into these spaces to receive the ball. If not pressed, they can pass out wide and attack the half space. Or, if they are pressed, then this can create even more danger for the opponent. Take this move against Bayer Leverkusen. Chelsea are patient in circulating possession, and the right winger nearly always finds himself in a 2v1 against Cucurella and Chalobah. If this rotation out wide is closed down too quickly, then it frees up this dangerous central channel that is the secret to the vast majority of Chelsea's attacks that we can see. For example, on the opposite flank, in this move we can see the exact same pattern. Bayer Leverkusen push forward and fall for the trap. They shift further out wide on the left, and it frees up a central pass into Palmer, who's then fouled in a dangerous position. This constant circulation around the back ensures that Chelsea can progress in lots of different ways, and once the player receives the ball between the lines, the front 3 are in the perfect position to attack forward. But what's more interesting is how the players will rotate between themselves as well. And while the shape will nearly always be the same, sometimes Palmer will drop deep to pick up the ball. Or he'll swap places with Cucurella, and it keeps the opponents having to consistently change who they need to mark. It means these central passes can come at any moment, either directly through the middle or going round the press. But at one point or another, Chelsea will look to cut right through the heart of the opponent. One great example of this central progression can be seen with Estevao in the second half, as he moved to a more central position and linked up play with Santos. From here, we can see that as play moves out wide, there are instantly 3 players ready to attack the box. In the final third, this is where the true danger of this system can be seen, and as play shifts out wide, these 3 players are ready to attack the box. The winger has space to cut inside because of this run into the half space that drags away a defender, and the rest of the players can quickly flood the back post to meet any crosses into the box. This was perfectly evident in the goal that made it 2-0 against AC Milan. With Chelsea breaking forward quickly, and as Neto cuts onto his left foot, there are 5 players attacking the box, and with Reece James overlapping on the right flank. With all these players attacking forward, Chelsea create constant overloads in dangerous areas, making it incredibly difficult for opponents to defend against their fluid and quick movement. However, this system also requires excellent tactical discipline and a high work rate, especially in transitional moments. Defensively, the back 3 and the pivot need to be alert to counterpress quickly when possession is lost to avoid being exposed. And there were occasions in their pre-season friendly against 10-man AC Milan where they were able to cut right through the middle of midfield. So this is something that Chelsea definitely need to look out for in the upcoming season. So could this be the system that pushes Chelsea back into the title race? The early signs of these pre-season friendlies are promising. There's a blend of stability at the back, patient build-up, and explosive attacking power with a lot of new exciting young players. What remains to be seen is if Maresca can sustain this for the whole season, and when Chelsea inevitably face their dreaded low block, will the players be able to adapt quicker than they did in certain situations last season? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below.